Gosh, I should have combed my hair. There we go. We're back again. This is Thursday night. We've had a lovely dinner party. All sorts of lovely friends here. Are any of you present? Are any of you in the room? It's like a seance. Can I summon any of you up? I don't know. We've got nobody here at the moment. We've got one like, so one of you likes this. Good evening, Busterhead, whoever you may be. Are you the only person present? Gemma, thank you for your hello. Right, that's three of you. We're gaining traction at a very slow speed. Paulie, hello. Right, Icke, Penn, Jenny, and Jill, and Shaker, and Virtual, and Bradley, and his Screwed Politics. Hello, thank you, Screwed Politics, for all your efforts. You're most generous. And we've got Mario Garcia. He's actually in the room, but he's saying hello in real life. I'm going to give him a quick hello. Hello and welcome. That's where we're up to. So there you go. Now you know what Mario Garcia looks like. He's a very famous face in his own right anyway. He's famous in the Magnet. And he's got his own little poster up in the bar there. And we should all be donating to support his cause. Please do that. That would be great if you please could. So you're all saying rip Michael Parkinson. Well, I'm afraid the guests in the room don't agree. They're not great fans. They were very disappointed in Michael Parkinson and the treatment of the likes of Helen Mirren, for example. I didn't like Helen Mirren, but I didn't particularly know Michael Parkinson, who the Daily Mail have called the soul of Yorkshire. I think Yorkshire has far better people to consider as souls of Yorkshire. The War of the Roses didn't really need to lead to Michael Parkinson. The comments I've had are that he was a smarmy misogynist who did not like his interviewees. There you go. But it seems that you all seem to love Mr. Parkinson. A slightly different of opinion to the room. Have I ever been to Canada? I don't know how that relates to Michael Parkinson. Has Michael Parkinson died? I'm afraid, Karen Haig, I'm going to have to tell you, I don't know if you're a relation of William Hague, but Michael Parkinson is dead. This is, whether you like Parkinson or not, he has died. It's not nice to not be nice about him. Well, I don't think you have to pretend you'd have to like somebody if you didn't. So there we go. My guests don't like the man. So there we go. Billy Connolly liked Parkinson. Well, I didn't find Billy Connolly that funny, to be honest. But there we go. You thought Billy Parkinson was a typically arrogant BBC lovey. Well, that's your view, non nobis. He was a great interviewer. Well, I think people are entitled to different views. Virtual Mad World won the pub quiz today, and you put it in capital letters. I was told off by one of the viewers yesterday for criticizing people who use capital letters and exclamation marks. I don't like people using capital letters and exclamation marks. I will not be changing my opinion on such. I think that it's rather naff, and perhaps you should get yourself an education. So please don't use capital letters and education marks. You can do that on other channels. My channel is not welcoming such things. So I thank you all. You love Des O'Connor. Okay, well, that's a different person. I don't know who we're going to get. We're going to go through a list of, is there anyone out there who loved Jimmy Savile, perhaps, or Cilla Black, or some other hellhole horror? I don't know how we're getting on to this bizarre list. You loved Muhammad Ali. Okay, well, that's your entitlement. You love Billy Connolly. I'm sorry. Well, some people had to. It wasn't me. Some people love Jim Davidson, but they must be off their rockers. Jim Davidson loves a dreadful man called Gary Glitter. That says a lot about him. Some people love Michael Barrymore, yes, and please continue to sign my petition. Over 850, maybe nearly 900 of you have signed now. We need to get the Barrymore man stopped. So thank you for your kind support. And that is absolutely splendiferous. Yes, you like the word splendiferous. Yes, that's great. Glenda Jackson. Well, I thought she was a bit of a lefty pest, to be honest. You know, typical Labour pest. Not my kind of person. No, thank you. Savile. He was from your hometown, so I assume you're from Leeds. Nasty piece of work. Well, you're quite right there. And supported by Edwina Curry. I was just moving my book collection around earlier, and there was a book that had somehow had infiltrated the collection. You know, we could have had curried eggs. Terrible thing. Awful. No, so we didn't like that. So, yes, there we go. Do people call me Matt? Matt is a name that is perfectly acceptable to many people. Nicky Haslam calls me Barnaby. He doesn't even know who I am. I love Nicky in his own little way. He's a bit bonkers, but he keeps confusing me with my old friend Barnaby Rogers, who used to be my employee. But there we go. So people call me many things, but some people call me worse things than others. But I've been called worse things than Matt, but I'm not a doormat, no. So, no, I'd rather be called by my name. But frankly, people can call me anything. Don't really care. Have I got a lion? No, I haven't got a lion. Somebody gifted me a giraffe recently, and it's called Twiggy, and it's the Sheldrick Trust. So I've got that. In the past, I had a zonkey. That was a wonderful creature. I've had llamas, I've had dogs, I've had horses, I've had everything. The only thing my parents were so mean that they didn't give me, I was allowed everything for it. I was a ferret, and I wanted a ferret very much, but that's a terrible story, and I really regret the horror that I never had one. But there we go. I want an owl. Yes, I've flown owls. I've flown barn owls at Turnberry. I love owls with a passion. Yes, that's a striped donkey. Yes. Well, no, a zonkey is a zonkey, actually. It's a cross between a zebra and a donkey. It's not a striped donkey. That is not the correct description. And the creature was called Zonk, and it was a wonderful creature. And it was owned originally by the judge, Sir Sanderson Templeton, and he bought it from some gypsies from Ireland, and it ran around the lanes of Lancashire, and it was the most wonderful creature. The word gypsy is a wonderful word, and I can say the word gypsy, and my friend is a proud gypsy, Alfie Best, who is the owner of the biggest number of caravan parks in the world. And I know a lot of people don't like, caravan parks and the caravan park owners, but I think he's a great businessman, and I salute Alfie Best. And I also will give a big shout out tomorrow. My friend Tony Discipline, who I call Tony No Discipline, he was in EastEnders. You might know him as being a member of something called the Moon Family. I don't watch the program, but Tony No Discipline is opening a bar tomorrow, and I hope you all go and support his bar in southeast London, and it will be a wonderful place, and I'm looking forward to going there very soon myself. But he's having a huge party to open it tomorrow night, and I hope to be able to go there very soon myself also. So look out for Tony No Discipline, and also for his Tipsy Trailer, which is a horse box which he takes around festivals and events where he serves beverages. We love people who serve drinks, so it's about time we showed that I'm having a drink. My guests are having a drink, so I want them all to say cheers. So cheers to every guest present. Cheers. Cheers. So we've got some lovely people in the room. And it's cheers to everybody who's tuned in. There's 366 of you tuned in already. I know it's late at night and it's later than normal, so we don't know whether it's the American audience that is coming in later. But what's my opinion on Imran Khan? Well, Mr. Khan is was married to the sister of a very dear friend of mine, and a family who I've supported for many years. Mr. Khan should not be in prison. He has done no harm to the world. He is a good person. And, I think it's absolutely outrageous the way he's being treated. He's not done harm to the world. I think that we need to have more people like him. I'm the new Nigel Dempster. Well, I used to know Nigel. I'm a gossip. Oh, well, gossip. What am I gossiping about? This, that, and the other. Thank you for your kind words, but I used to see Nigel Dempster wandering around Ennismore Gardens when I used to live there in Knightsbridge, back when I was a student, and the poor man was getting old, but he was a very talented gentleman, rather like Dominic Dunn, who was Vanity Fair, who was one of the most brilliant journalists in the world, in my view. He inspired me. I thought his investigation of society's crimes fascinating. That kind of thing interests the world. So don't criticize people like Nigel Dempster. He did no harm to you. Whoever you are, I think your opinion is a little bit bonkers. Why are more of you pretending you're Caroline Aherne? I don't know. Isn't that the name of the comedian? I don't know. But why are you going on about Imran Khan? Please, no more. I've had enough of that. Next topic. What's my opinion on Imran Khan? You keep asking your same question repeatedly. I would ask the moderator to please delete your comments. You are an annoyance. Yes, you've been deleted. Thank you. Bye-bye, Caroline Aherne. You are a pest. And this is with a lesson to all the rest of you. No more of this. We don't want more trolls. This is Paulie. Yes, you did write to me, I believe, Paulie. What is my opinion on Captain Tom's daughter? Well, I do think that Captain Tom's daughter has rather abused the situation. From the beginning, my granny said to me, I don't like the look of all of this nonsense, she said. There was something not quite right about all this fundraising by this old man. He meant well himself, but that family around him, they flew him off to Barbados and they paraded him around with the worst person, the creepy Christian crooner, as I call him, Cliff Richard. I didn't like it from the minute that began. I thought there's something that stinks here, and then they built themselves a little swimming pool at the expense of the general public. That doesn't make sense, does it? So they've wasted all the public money on this little jolly in their little mansion they live in. No, I think the Captain Tom Foundation has been abused. I think Captain Tom Moore himself was actually a well-meaning gentleman. I think his family are a bunch of greedy grifters. Shame on them. I don't support them. I think the Charity Commission should be investigating. But look, when I made a formal complaint to the Charity Commission about Baroness Mayer, as she now is, they said, it's not for us to investigate. You should complain to the trustees of the charity. Who were the trustees of her charity? Her husband, Barbara Taylor Bradford, Fergie, Fergie, a woman who's as thick as a plank, and the likes of Barbara Taylor Bradford, a woman who writes stupid books that, quite frankly, nobody in their right mind would read. But, of course, she's made millions because lots of people are a bit different to me. So, no, I wish her well. She writes for a certain audience. I like Jeffrey Archer's books. Many of my friends say I'm thick and I shouldn't be reading such things. But I enjoy reading his books. But Barbara Taylor Bradford, oh, God. I used to hang out in San Francisco, and the neighbor was Danielle Steele. At least Danielle was fun company. Barbara Taylor Bradford was one of the most boring people I've ever met, but she was a trustee of this charity. And it comes back to the same thing with this Tom Moore thing. This family have appointed everybody, little cronies, supporters, people who'll do as they're told. Just nice, famous faces who'll just turn up and go, oh yes, we want to be linked with Captain Sir Tom. Terrible. They're letting people get away with building swimming pools in their houses with public money. This is the public donation. And the lady in the background's getting very angry about this, and I don't blame her. She would like to be more vocal, but she doesn't wish to be because she wishes to not be known. But the lady to my left, what is her view?
I agree with you entirely.
Yes.
Yeah.
June here. June and I are going to be doing a podcast together soon, and it's going to be vocal about things like this. We don't like grifters, do we, June?
No, we don't. But no time for them.
There we go. So here is June. June is in the room. So there we go. I am telling you that we will not be tolerating grifters and grimbags and thieves and David Williams. Well, David Williams has done me no harm. I don't particularly care for his style. I know a doctor who dealt with him, but there we go. Good evening, June. Yes, good evening, June.
Good evening.
Yes, June is going to. We're going to work out a way soon whereby we can have two people on the screen. That's. I'm not very good at technology, but we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's going to be called You and I, or whatever it's going to be called. There we go. So we're here. We're all. I'm being filmed from across the room. This is becoming bizarre, but anyway, looking forward. Do I like Dennis Wheatley's books? Please tell me who is Dennis Wheatley. I'm probably being really dumb. Horror stories. No, I don't. I don't do horror stories. No, I like Colin Dexter, Inspector Morse. I actually love, and I love watching the original Inspector Morse because I loved the music of Barrington Furlong, who the code was in the music in the program. That is what true crime people like June and I love. We love those kind of things. We love that. That's a clever thing to do. It's so brilliantly done. And I met Barrington Furlong, and what a wonderful man to spend time with he was. Talent, that's true talent. And John Ford and his, what a wonderful piece of brilliance that he performed as Inspector Morse. I don't think the current versions of programs are quite in the same league, other than the thing called Shetland, which I was addicted to. I loved Shetland with a passion. I don't know what, June, what was your...
Yeah, I love that. Morse.
June loved Morse as well. But what did you think of Shetland, June?
Yeah, I like Morse better.
Well, we all like
the
Morse.
One.
You love Margaret Rutherford and George Baker.
Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
Oh, Midsummer Murders. You just you wouldn't want to live there. So my friend Barnaby, his father was in Midsummer Murders on 4 occasions. He was once murdered with an asthma inhaler. And his wife was murdered on 3 occasions also. So Barnaby's parents have been murdered 7 times, I believe, in Midsummer Murders. His father was also in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. He played the policeman. Anton Rogers, a wonderful actor, and his wife, Elizabeth Garvey. And Barnaby is... a dear friend of mine. I haven't seen him in years because he's busy with his children, but we keep in touch. But I think we have to have a bit of joy in our lives, a bit of fun, and they're great stories. Would I live in Northumberland, as shown in Vera? Well, I love going to Northumberland, but I don't know why I would want to live in, as shown in Vera. I think that's a little bit of an odd thing. Is June from London? There you go. Are you from London? That's the question. No, June is not from London.
No.
Carolyn Haig, you're a star, you are. Oh, I don't know what that means. Steeple. Well, please, Carolyn Haig, I don't know what you're going on about. Thank you. I've only ever seen it in Vera. Well, I don't know what this Vera is because I've never watched Vera. Have I been to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival? No, I haven't. I would love to go, but I don't think I could afford to go because literally, it's like at the moment here in Broadstairs, there's this folk week and they all stay in tents and they all go mad and go bonkers and they leave lots of litter, according to my neighbour, and they go mad. And some people call it the Freak Week, but there we go. I think it's rather jolly, and it's a bit of a mixture. Some of them are better than others. I'm not really into Morris dances. My dad always said keep well away from those kind of people. And I've got a picture of one. I don't know if I can show it to the screen. I better not. He looks a little bit like Rolf Harris, so I better not do that. But I will show it to my guests afterwards, and they will laugh. No, I think many of the things of this folk week here have been utterly fantastic, wonderful events, mixture of things. I don't know why some of them sing Coldplay, because quite frankly, don't think that's got anything to do with folk week. But there you go. But no, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Many of my friends have performed there. I would love to go, but I can't afford to go because it costs like for a hotel room like $2,500 a night or something crazy. You couldn't afford to go. So anyway, never mind. Inspector Wexford. Didn't mind that, but I preferred Inspector Morse. June agrees. We're like the Wicker Man. What do you think of the Wicker Man, the original or the Nicolas Cage? No. I'm getting a no.
The original one, yes.
Mario is now interjecting.
Yeah.
So,
The original, yes. The original.
Our other guest has gone to sleep.
Wood one. Yes,
We've got another guest who's gone to sleep. So I must be boring her out of the hell. Thank you to the 535 of you who are currently watching this bunch. Is June single? Oh dear. Oh right. No, June is not single. Columbo. Okay. Name of the Rose. I don't know what that's all about. Wicker Man is fantastic, but Klaus Schwab, which is obviously an invented name. Which Wicker Man? Because there is the original version filmed in Scotland, and then there's the hideous version with Nicolas Cage.
Someone's put us
You better moderate.
Yeah.
It's going too fast.
Right. What do I think of Agatha Christie? Well, I have a lot of Agatha Christie books in this very house. I love going to the Bar Island where Agatha Christie wrote many of her books. It's a most wonderful place, and you go via a sea tractor. Fantastic place to go. It's for sale. I wrote about it earlier this year. You can buy it for $15 million, completely overpriced. But I would love to go there again, but I don't appreciate all that pathetic dressing up as if you're in some murder mystery. That's a bit silly. I just like to go there because I like the place. I'm not really into fakery. I'm a bit like her. She disappeared for 11 days once and was found in Harrogate. That's the kind of thing I want. All my friends said, why are you going to move to Broadstairs? You're mad. I came here. They said, you'll have no friends. Nobody will ever come and visit you. You'll be lonely. And here I am sitting with people around me. I've got two people who have come specially to see me. And I've also got two new friends. So that's life. And, Agatha Christie and we're masters of reinvention. I was on somebody else's podcast. I'm not going to name them. I wish them all the best with their future. But here we are. We've created a new world. And now there's 569 of you here this evening. I'm looking handsome. Well, I think you might need to get a new looking glass because I'll crack the mirror. But I think it's very kind of you to say, but no, I don't think so. But you're really kind, and thank you, and it's great fun. Well, yes, we find it great fun to chat with you. Have I met Chris Eubank? Oh, Chris Eubank. Yes, we used to meet him in Blake's Hotel. He used to turn up with his lorry. Oh my God, this lunatic with a truck and his Hummer. Oh my God. And I used to have this friend who lives in Monaco called Robert. And he'd come up to me and go, Robert, he's want to speak to Robert. And Robert drove a Bentley with a number plate on it, 111666, which was obviously an illegal number plate. But it was IJI 666 because it looked neat. And he even had handmade socks, this man. He was a little bit pedantic. When my friends, including my sister, once got in the car, he said, you will take your shoes off when you get into my car. It wasn't even raining. The man was ridiculous. And it was a second-hand Bentley. You know, it wasn't the best car on the planet. But Chris Eubank would come up to us and he'd go, Robert, why won't you talk to me? It was like something from Violet Elizabeth Bott. It was like something from the Just Williams stories. And this man in this handmade suit would sit there with this other idiot in a handmade suit with his little walking stick. And he'd go, Robert, he won't speak to me. And I had to put up with this gibbering pair of idiots. And I never knew anything quite like it. And they both drank orange juice. They're both as mean as hell. And that was my experience. And once he drove me around in his Hummer. And then he backed his lorry into the gates of Downing Street. But I wasn't there. I wasn't present for that occasion. Oh, and then when I was involved with a restaurant to do with Frankie Dettori, one day this Rolls-Royce convertible pulls up outside. And it was a sunny day. It was during, I think it was 2012. It was the Olympics. And out got Quith Eubank and these two people. And they came into the restaurant. And I sort of had a slight involvement in this restaurant. But I'm sitting there. I'm having lunch with my own friends. And the manager comes over and he goes, well, we've got a bit of a problem. Can you help me? And I said, what's the problem? He said, well, this man, Mr. Eubank, he can't pay. And I said, oh, well, there's a Rolls Royce outside. Tell them to pay. I said, surely they can afford to pay. They're driving around in a brand new Rolls Royce convertible. And he went. So he comes over and he goes, oh, Matthew, I know you from Roberts. And I was like, yes, I do know you. He goes, I'll come back in half an hour. Never seen again. Didn't ever pay. That's how people like that work. Lots of these famous people, they're a bunch of freeloaders. And Mr. Eubank, there's your story. That's a story I wasn't expecting to tell, but yes, we haven't even got on to our own stories. Here we are, Henley-on-Thames. Do I like it? You had a lovely lunch there today. Well, I'm very glad. Apple pie. I hope, did you have apple pie there? It's a lovely name, and I'm sure you had a lovely time in Henley-on-Thames. I've been to the Phyllis Court. I've been to all sorts of pubs in Henley-on-Thames. I did consider going to live there before I came to Broadstairs, actually. It was on my sort of list of places to go, but I never saw anywhere that I liked the look of, so I just ended up here instead. I think I did better. I think Henley-on-Thames is a bit like Midsummer Murders. I'd probably been dead. I'd probably been brown bread. So, right, there we go. You sound like a comic. Oh, well, it's better than sounding like a funeral director, isn't it? So, thank you for your kind remark. Does Mick Jagger live near me? No, it's not as far as I'm aware. I have met Mick Jagger, but no, I'm a character. Oh, it's you again, Caroline. Oh, yes, thank you. Right. Your brother-in-law makes Chris Eubank Bolt. I don't know why you make him Bolt. He's not Usain Bolt. Have I ever drunk at the Nag's Head in Belgravia? Well, yes, of course I have. Yes. Ask me the obvious. There we go. What's my advice for choosing a new location to live? Choose somewhere where you can find good friends and good company, and you can enjoy a good walk.
And a pub, not the Mac.
And a pub, yes, a community pub. The Magnet, and Mario here is rightly calling this out, the Magnet is a community. And that is the most lovely thing about it. and it brings together people from a whole array of backgrounds. Some of them are completely insane. Some of them are completely wacky. Some of them are completely deranged. Some of them are wonderfully calm. Then you get a dragon. Oh no, the flat earther doesn't really matter. He's long gone. But you get all sorts of people. You get the lovely Lorraine, who and her partner, her husband, who raise money for charity, and they do lots of good. And you get people like, for example, Viv and John, lovely, just regulars who are they're part of the community, and they ran a pub. Viv ran a pub in the community, and you get ladies like Sam, who has worked there a long time, and lovely people. It's a whole mixture of different people, and that's what's the great thing about a community. You bring people together, and it doesn't matter what it is. But Alexis has come to visit, my friend, and she's enjoyed a weekend of visiting. Well, not a weekend; it's a weekday. But sorry, every day is the weekend, and every day is a work day to me. So it all feels like a weekend to me. So I do apologize, but you all think that I'm completely mad anyway. So am I part of Dynasty? No, I'm not part of Dynasty. No, I don't know about it. Have I met Rula Lenski? Yes, I once lay on a bed with her. It was a very expensive bed. Michael Jackson. Yes, I met Michael Jackson. Yeah, very strange situation. I met my sister, was taught to do the moonwalk, and I played with the monkey Bubbles. So there you go. That was with a lady called Marissa Masters, who Alexis, the lady who's here visiting, knows. He used to stay at her home because he was friends with Fayed, and that was the connection. So that was the only reason I ever met him. Do I still go on someone else's channel? Not presently, but I wish that person well. I don't have any problems, but I would rather we don't talk about that anymore. I think it is time to move on and talk about other things. So I wish the person well. Do I have a cat? No, I don't have a cat. I don't have a cat or a dog or any other kind of animal. I'd like an owl, yes. Everyone keeps saying I want an owl. I don't need an owl. I love a parrot as well. I love a parrot, but I don't really think it would be suitable for me to have an animal. Would I like Nigel Farage, as in garage? No, I wouldn't put him in the cupboard. I'd put him in the blender. So there you go. That's where. There we go. Thank you, Screwed Politics, for your questions about the other person. I don't have to answer further questions. Right. What's my tipple? Well, I'm having a glass of wine right now, but there we go. Have I ever been to Grimsby? No, but there's a dreadful woman who I know of there who is a murderess. And Alexis knows a lot about her. Yes? Yes, her name is Jane Andrews, and she was the dresser of the Duchess of York, and she's working in a supermarket there. So please don't bother going there, because you might encounter this woman who stabs people and watches them die for 4 hours. I wouldn't want to be in her company. So no, Grimsby, the name says it all to me. I'm really put off the idea of the place. I'm sure there are lovely people who live in Grimsby, but it's not the place for me, because all I ever think of is murder. So it's a very bad place. A parrot that would say bog off. Yes, well, I wouldn't mind a parrot that would say bag off. I never met Michael Hutchins, no. I have met Bob Geldof on multiple occasions. Am I looking forward to Freak Week? Well, I'm already in the midst of supposedly what some people call it, but I think this Folk Week here in Broadstairs is actually a wonderful thing for the community. It brings in lots of business for the local town, wonderful things for the local shops. It's a variety, and variety is the spice of life, and we should encourage things that help lots of other people. Instead of moaning about things, let's encourage people to bring in business and say, You know, when I first came here, there was a cheese shop and then it closed down. What a shame. But nobody supported it. And that was the problem. They all went to Tesco. You know, support your local shop.
Yeah.
That is what we must do in our world. Support your local bar. Don't go to the Weatherspoon. Do not go to the Weatherspoon, because that greedy, horrible man who runs it is a complete tyrant and a piece of toe rag. Support your local bar. Go to your local magnet. You know, whether you're in Exeter or Edinburgh or Wolverhampton or Leeds, wherever you are, go to your local place. Support your local shop. Go to the local greengrocer. Go to the local place that sells milk, fish, whatever you want to buy. Just don't rely continually on Iceland, Tesco, Waitrose. Waitrose is actually a good community thing. I think it's better than most of them. And the quality of their goods is better. But these Tesco's and Sainsbury's, they're just greed operations. They don't do anything for communities. So support your local shop, support your local bar, support your local restaurant, particularly. Restaurants really need your support. They've really suffered. So there we go. Waitrose is woke, says Anna. Well, I don't agree with you, Anna. It's nothing. Waitrose is not woke. It's actually a good community business. I think Waitrose actually does a lot of good for the world. What does June think?
I love Waitrose.
June and I love Waitrose, so you're totally wrong.
Yes.
Yes, we don't agree with you.
No,
Waitrose owns Asda, says Kaz.
no, it doesn't.
As far as I'm aware, they
No.
don't. I believe Asda is owned by someone else. Yes. I like Waitrose. It's my local. Well, I'm glad you do, Jenna. We agree. But I don't know why you're saying Alan Whicker. Yes, I did meet Alan Whicker once at a party in Sloane Street at a launch of a restaurant. I think Wicker's World was utterly amazing. And I think the episode that you should all watch, and you can find it on YouTube if it's still there, I hope, was about Percy Shaw, the man who invented the cat's eye. And he was a proper old Yorkshireman who was completely down to earth. And he drove a Rolls Royce, one of the ones that would, you know, most people would have had a chauffeur and it had the thick window. But he drove it himself and he took his friends off to play golf with it. And I think he was the most lovely man. And he was so down to earth. And people, have I met Marco Pierre White? Oh, my God. I've spent more time with Marco Pierre White than most people on the bloody planet, everyday life, and his children. And they're lovely people. I get on very well with them. I won't say anything bad about Marco on this channel. I think Marco and his family are a bit bonkers, but they are lovely people. And Matty also. I'm not going to criticize the Pierre White family. But Cat's Eyes, yes, they were something that changed the world. So look up Alan Whicker and Percy Shaw, Cat's Eyes. Here is a bit of education for you. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a book recommendation because, frankly, you want to learn new things. You're going on about Marco. Okay, well, Marco is actually, he was, you know, the original chef. Okay, we'll carry on with Marco for a minute. Marco trained Gordon Ramsay. There would be none of these celebrity chefs, and I hate the word celebrity. It's naff, it's tacky, and it's like toilet. It's the kind of word you shouldn't use. You're better off using the word crapper or bog or loo or whatever you want to call it, but please don't call it toilet. And please don't use the word celebrity. You know, maybe Marilyn Monroe was a celebrity. Marco Pierre White was not a celebrity and never will be, and he wouldn't even consider himself such. And, you know, these Love Island trash and all the rest of it, and these, you know, stars of this goggle box, which we're not going to be on it, so don't worry. But it's a shame, but we might be on it next time. You never know. The lady is still in touch with me and is still keen to do something in the future. So we're not doing it for the moment, but that doesn't matter. But what I will say is the word celebrity. Don't call yourself. You can't call yourself something. It's for somebody else to call you famous. Margaret Thatcher was a pioneer. She changed the world. She was the first female prime minister. That's a groundbreaker, I would say. I think that's a word that should be used of her. But to call all these people who are on Coronation Street, oh, the celebrity star of Coronation Street, really seriously awful. So I don't know how we got onto the word celebrity, but I've now lost the train of thought.
Rod Stewart.
No, we were Rod Stewart. Now we're onto. Now we're segueing as a certain person who's another naff word. We're segueing. That's what he used to use into something else. So my guests are appalled by the dad dancing Rod Stewart. He looked like he was vomiting. They said. What did you all think of Rod Stewart? Oh, do I play golf? Well, I know Rod Stewart plays golf, but I certainly think it's a good walk. Spoilt. I'm very much up there with people. And we talked about the golf courses yesterday. They should be rewilded. It's absolutely disgusting how they destroy beautiful land for the sake of these artificial fake pieces of nonsense. Oh, your favorite is Rod Stewart. Okay. Well, I'll give you a Rod Stewart story. I used to work for an American billionaire. His name was Maurice Kanbar. He was rather in love with certain elements of my family. I won't say whom, because that might annoy them. This man was the man who was a brilliantly talented gentleman in some ways. He was a bit of a poison dwarf in other senses. And Mr. Kanbar was a person who had come up with the concept of the retractable syringe, which saved thousands and millions of lives. He came up with the idea of the multiplex cinema because he encountered somebody who owned a cinema in New York, and they said nobody wanted to go there anymore. So he said, I'll buy your cinema, and he split it up into 4 screens. Then he created multiplex cinemas. Then he created the world's first hangover-free vodka. That was the marketing. The Californian health authorities called it that. He sold it for $1.2 billion. And Mr. Kanbar and I we spent a lot of time together. When I was younger, because of his connections with family and friends. And then he wanted me to work with him. And he would fly into England, and I'd have to collect him from Heathrow Airport. And he insisted upon one thing. For the entire time he was staying with us in England, we had to have one CD in the car. It was Rod Stewart. I didn't know much about Rod Stewart at this big point juncture of my life. I was probably about 19, 20 years old. And Rod Stewart would come with the CD, would be put into the CD at Heathrow Airport, and then he would sing along. It didn't matter who was in the car. We had Deborah Meaden in the car on one occasion. I remember her being forced to endure him singing along. We had Sir Clive Bannister, who was chairman of HSBC Bank. He was forced to endure it. Every single person that got in the car had to be played Rod Stewart. But it was me, and it was my own car. He didn't own the car. I actually owned the car myself. It was my Range Rover, and I had to have this damn CD playing for at least a week when he'd stay. We would have to have him singing along. So Rod Stewart to me and his dad dancing, no thanks. Rod Stewart makes me feel violent. No, not a fan. So you like Sir Rod Stewart? Okay. Rod Stewart is a legend. He's a big Celtic fan. Okay, well, we've now got 674 of you. The audience is growing. It's lovely to have such a live audience on a Thursday night. You'd like me to say golly wally. Okay, there you go. Golly wally. Golly wally, Holly is a wally. Holly is horrible. Awful. Don't like her. Right, so my guests here would like me to talk about Britney Spears. Now, what do you all think of Britney Spears and her man, Sam? I may pronounce his name incorrectly. Sam Asghari. Believe they've been married 1 year, prenup, conservatorship, renegotiated, married for the money. He looks a little odd. That's what I've been told to say. So I'm saying exactly that. You think Britney Spears is weird? Yes, she's lost it. Well, I think she was weird all along. Talented, but, clearly very good at her job. Made herself famous, but I don't see the point of her, to be honest. You've just got back from the pub, Sharon. Okay. Well, we like people to go to pubs. Support your local pub. Thank you, Sharon. That's a good thing to do. Now, what's the name of your pub, Sharon? No, Sharon's pub. Right. Britney is very unwell. Yes, I tend to agree. She's on too many drugs. She's out of it. Well, I don't think she ever wasn't, but there we go. What do I think of the Sharon was at the Oxted Inn. I don't know where that is, but all hail the Oxted Inn. I think we shall have to come and pay you a visit at the Oxted Inn. You feel sorry for Britney. Oh, she's been used by everybody. Well, look, she would never have got there without someone controlling her. These people's lives are turning you into an alcoholic. There you go, Kanye. I don't know if you have anything to do with Kanye West, but I quite like Kanye West. I like his music, actually. I know most people think he's mad, but I actually quite enjoy his music. He's quite bonkers. I was listening to the lyrics and I didn't mind. You play darts at the Bay Horse Inn. Okay, well, I love a game of darts. So, Elizabeth, come down here. If I can get my dartboard back from my friend. I do have a dartboard. I used to have it for all the security staff in the house I used to live in. We used to have great times playing darts. I think Alexis, the lady who's visiting, played darts with me in my house once. That was long, long ago. We enjoyed a game of darts. Darts is fantastic. Britney is vulnerable. Oh, well, there we go. I don't agree with you on this occasion. Screwed politics. She's just bonkers. You like darts. Farage is in garage. Well, he probably wouldn't be very good at darts, I don't think. He'd probably have 10 pints too many and fall into he'd lose his dart. So you're crap at darts. Oh, there you go. I probably shouldn't say that word. Oops. That's probably going to get me into trouble. Skittles in Somerset pubs. Well, I don't know if I'd be any good at that. Barrymore. Okay, yes. Shifty Schofield. Have I had a paranormal experience? We'll talk about that another day. I'll go into my ghostly experiences another day and my family's involvement with the Society of the Paranormal and my interest in that part of the world. I think that's a little detail for this evening. Right, we're missing out on all the other matters that I was meant to be talking about. Right, not the pangolins, because we missed out on those. I'd like you to all know that there are more food banks in the UK now than there are McDonald's. There are 2,500 food banks in the UK, and there are only 1,350 McDonald's. Doesn't that say something about this country? Isn't that outrageous? When we have a country that's run by a billionaire, and we have a moron called Rishi Sunak who's in charge, and we have another moron called Sir Keir Starmer who is doing nothing to oppose him. You think McDonald's isn't food? Well, yes, but McDonald's does supply food that people can afford to buy, as opposed to a lot of other places. But it's disgusting. Absolutely wrong. And then we've got 30p Lee, the man who was cancelled from the other channel for. Polling today shows that 30p Lee Anderson is on track to lose his seat by a whopping margin. I'm very much looking forward to that. Rishi Sunak, shame on you. How could you bring the Conservative Party into such disrepute by hiring a man to be chairman of the Conservative Party, a party that my family once supported so wholeheartedly, and gave money to and gave time to, by bringing in a man who believes that people can live on 30p a week? Are you deranged? Rishi Sunak, all you're doing is going off to watch Barbie with your daughters, hanging out in LA, going on holiday. Where are you, Rishi Sunak? Going around in private jets, helicopters, take the train, become like the rest of us. Man up and grow up and show up. Shame on you. I don't like you, Rishi Sunak. I wanted to like you. I wanted to like you because I thought you were a breath of fresh air. And June here next to me, June has a different view. Well, who would June like?
Boris.
Come on, June, you can speak up.
Boris, bring back Boris. That's what I say.
Yep, there we go. We don't agree, but even I'm on the verge of coming to this conclusion. Dishi Rishi, do some work.
Yeah.
Show up, man up, and grow up. Absolutely tirade of disgrace of you. Enough is enough. And we're going up to 680 viewers here now. Who owns Waitrose?
John Lewis.
John Lewis, which is a collective.
Partnership.
It's a partnership. So you like Minder.
Yeah,
Okay.
Boris,
It's a big no pom Boris from Tiger Lily. Well, it's not from June, but I agree. Crystal Silverheart loves Boris. So there we go. It's so lovely to have a channel here where we can say what we think.
Right, yeah.
We are differing people of differing views, and this is a great thing. It's refreshing to bring people of differing opinions together. That is what I like to do. I'm Marmite. Okay, I am Marmite. You might love me, you might hate me. If you hate me, you can turn me off. You don't have the right, you have the right not to listen to me. I'm not trying to force anything upon you. If you don't want to watch me, turn off. Go away. I don't make you. I'm not going. Look into my eyes. 3-1, you're under. For goodness sakes. If you don't like me, you have the right to go away. Please. Whoever you are, you're bonkers. Please. Next. Right. I don't really need that kind of nonsense. And nor does anyone else. You are entitled to watch whatever you want. I don't like GB News. I don't watch it. Okay? Get over it. Ooh, so what? I don't like it. They don't care. Well, why would they care? I'm one person. I'm totally irrelevant. For goodness sakes. Getting angry about that. You're mad. Right, you missed me talking to the trolls. Well, I've just told one off. I tell them to bog off. Next. You're the Steeple people. We want a T-shirt. Okay. We'll make one then. Thank you. I can't make one myself. I wouldn't know how to make a bus ticket. I'm totally as much use as that. I'm totally inept. I couldn't do it. Have I ever met the bankrupt Katie Price? Well, I have a lady who writes to me every day calling her the skank. And we talk about the skank. How on earth can this silly woman afford to go on holiday on first-class flights when she's bankrupt? It's ridiculous. I do know her uncle, Howard Kruger, who owns the back catalogue of Frank Sinatra. I have met him on multiple occasions, and he's in business with man who buried the Ferraris in the garden, Lord Rocket. So, yes, the dreaded Katie Price. No, the woman is just vile. She could have been so good. She was like Britain's equivalent of Paris Hilton. She made 60 million pounds, and then she threw it all away. She's delusional and deranged, and she's not like Eureka Johnson, who's a 4x4. I don't know. She's probably a 5x6 or something. I don't know how many kids she's got, or but by how many dads. But honestly, and the names of these children, they sound feral from the start. It's absolutely dreadful. And the mucky mansion, and then there's these horrible boyfriends and husbands and strippers and lovers and boob jobs and plastic, not fantastic. And it definitely isn't fantastic. Nothing is, and she bought the house off Francis Maud, a former Conservative minister, the mucky mansion. So, no, Miss Price is not up there in the quality stakes, is she really? Oh, in her Range Rovers. A kid called Ferret. No, I was talking about feral children in her case. Not a ferret. Leave the ferrets out of it. Eddie in the Archers has currently he did a ferret on a wheel. I thought that was more charming. We love ferrets. Nothing wrong with the ferret. But she's feral. Katie Price isn't well and I shouldn't be nasty. Basically. Okay. She needs help. Okay. Well, that's for you to say. But my correspondent who writes to me calls her the skank. And I agree. The ferret wheel on the Archers. Yes, Azalinka. It was lovely, wasn't it? Very good. Well done, Eddie Grundy. It made everyone happy, including even Linda Snell, the village gossip. That was quite nice. Lord Digby Jones. Oh, he's a pompous prat. No, don't like him. He's a fat old fool, and I had to put up with him at a dinner or somewhere in the Midlands. Awful. Katie Hopkins, vile, stupid woman. She once asked for £5,000 to appear with me to talk about something. She wanted a first-class ticket from Exeter, where she lived, and a room at Claridge's. She's deranged, off her merry rocker. Totally loopy. Who's worse, Price or Jodie Marsh? Oh, Jodie Marsh is just harmless, poor woman, bit delusional. She used to hang around with Omid Scooby, the Meghan Markle sidekick. So there you go. Says a lot about her qualities. Did I meet Magnus Pike? Is that a fish? I once caught a pike. It dragged the boat in the opposite direction. It was I thought I'd caught a log. Very odd thing. Anyway, it was a horrible looking thing. And one of the people in the local town here, Graham Burns, a lovely man who does lots of great things for the local community, he caught a pike and he got told off by somebody else in the local community. So we better not go down the route of pikes. Have I ever met Joan Collins? Well, yes, of course. And her children and her relatives, and we've talked extensively about them earlier today. Noel Edmonds, awful freak. The man's off his rocker. Send him on the boat. Get him out of here. Awful creep. Dreadful. He's worse than David Icke. He's cuckoo. I think Noel Edmonds needs a mental health check. There we go. Next one. Your viewing figures are really good. Oh, well, we're up to 721. Have I met Stephen Fry? Oh, well, yes, I was once forced to endure a weekend with Stephen Fry. Mr. Fry came to stay at a friend of mine's estate in Norfolk, and my friend, who since died, has a schedule of everything was organized, and I was expecting to enjoy the company of Stephen Fry, but no, Mr. Fry, he talks about himself continually. He's the most boring man on the planet. Absolutely awful. Didn't enjoy him. Sorry to say it. Great actor, brilliant comedian, not great to spend time with as a personality. What did I think of Rod Hull and Michael Parkinson? Well, I don't really have much to say, do I, about that? The emu. Yes, I know who Parkinson died today. You thought he was a great interviewer. You don't like Stephen Fry's teenage-looking husband. Very, very odd. Right.
Oh, not on his phone.
My thoughts on Rod Stewart. Well, I think we've already covered Rod
Yeah.
Stewart. Who's worse, David Furnish or Stephen Fry? I would say David Furnish definitely tops the league. Mr. Furniture Less is somebody who did try and bring legal action against me on one occasion via his little friends called the Web Sheriff, and don't think I'll be forgetting that, Mr. Furniture Less. And as the brilliant work of the lady who wrote the column at the Daily Mail about this said, when confronted by him, Mr. Furniture Less said, I don't think it's fair that I don't have a title. I've met several people over the years who've gone down this route, but this one, he said, it's not fair that I don't have a title when my husband has one. And the Daily Mail columnist said, well, what do you want to be called? Lady John? And equally, I met this man at a dinner party at the Carlton Club many years ago. And this boring couple was sat next to me. She was some baroness, and she was absolutely dull as ditch water. I don't know what she'd actually done for the world, but she was like some nobody. She really wasn't important. She was just claiming her £350 a day. And he said, oh, it's not fair that I'm just called Mr. And I said, well, what do you want to be called? And it's ridiculous. Titles run the way they work. Let's try and change things. And we had an argument yesterday about this, about Camilla and her being given her title. I don't see the need to change the title system in that regard. I think we should get rid of most of the House of Lords because most of them are just utterly inept and utterly useless, and we should bring in people who actually contribute and are useful, rather than having people like Baroness Bra, who happens to have been on The Apprentice and, was the wife of a sex, was involved in business with some sex toy floggers. My dad said, do you really want Baroness Dildo? That's what my dad calls her. And she was my neighbour in Belgravia. What a horrible woman to have in our street. All of my neighbours when I lived in that street in Belgravia, we all said, we don't want her. And then there was Baroness Bra, the woman who has made £232 million on fake PPE that doesn't work. This woman should be in prison or she should be made to repay the money she took. Shame on her. And that man Barrymore, that husband of hers, they're both under investigation. But who put these people there? David Cameron and the Conservative Party. Shame on them. Shame on a lot of them. Let's get the back. Carol Vorderman, like her all over. I don't agree with her on everything she comes out because I think she goes a bit overboard. And I said this previously. But she's right to call out the dildo flogger and the Baroness Bra. For God's sake, these are two tawdry women who are just tacky. And they're just two minor examples. There are many others, and there are many men. It's not being misogynist here. I'm calling them out because Baroness Moan has had £232 million of your money. This is your money, the British public. This is not my money. She's stolen this money for her fake PPE. She should be locked up, named and shamed, not celebrated. This woman shouldn't be in the House of Lords wearing ermine. She should be brought to justice for her disgusting misuse of public money. And well done, Carol Vorderman. Today I salute you, Carol. I don't know you. I only ever knew twice nightly Richard Whiteley, and we've already gone through that story, so we won't do that again. But come on, public. Man up, grow up, and speak up. Well done to this Byline Times newspaper for calling out people like this, because no one else is doing it. And well done to Twitter, because that's a medium that seems to allow people to speak. And I was told I couldn't speak about certain things elsewhere. I'm going to be speaking more about Ghislaine Maxwell and other topics I wish to speak about, which I was told I wasn't allowed to speak about in the past. But, I had a message from a lady today from Instagram. She enjoyed watching this. Her name is Adele. I'm not going to give her surname because I didn't ask her permission. I don't think it would be appropriate. But she wanted me to call out Nadine Dorries. She's a constituent of Nadine Dorries. And she's very disappointed. And this lady wrote to me and said via Instagram that she's never here. She hasn't bothered to go to Parliament for a year. She's paid a salary of £84,000. She's continued to take the salary of £84,000. She's continued to claim expenses, and then she makes money elsewhere. Well, your constituent, Nadine Dorries, you disgusting sidekick of Boris Johnson, who behaves like a toad. You are an absolute outrage going in that jungle program, and then you are moaning on because they didn't give you a peerage. Well, you're another greedy one that wants £350 a day to do nout. Well, I'm very glad they stopped you getting that. But your constituent, Adele, wants me to tell you this. She says, my fingers are crossed it won't be too long until you're gone. She goes, chin chin with a gin when you're gone. That's what we say to you, nasty Nad, nutty Nad. And I'm allowed to say these things, and I can call you 30p Lee. You're another horror. Polling shows you'll be losing by a whopping majority. There we go. It's good to say goodbye to you. And now we will move along. Right. Well, I think it is time. No, I'm okay for a drink. I'm being offered a top up. You see, I've now got a barman beside me. This is absolutely wonderful, isn't it? Perhaps I should take advantage. Perhaps I'll have a gin and tonic.
I can't moderate, so I might as well do something else.
Yes, Mario, the moderator, is going to make a gin and tonic. I'm going to test his skills. This could be an interesting part of the evening. No, we'll have to. But meanwhile, I would like to take this opportunity to make a tribute to a person who's died, a dear friend of many people close to me, a man called Philip Lawless. So, Mr. Lawless was a very talented restaurateur who was the manager of my friend's restaurants, and then became the owner of his own. And in 2017, I wrote an article about him, and I'm going to read it to you. This was written in December 2017. I said, though the restaurateur Philip Lawless recently sold his Belgravia dining spot Hopkins, his legacy lives on both there and at the Bow Wine Vaults, which he retains and continues to run. He since has sold that and he since sadly died in the last couple of days. Irish-born Lawless moved to London in the 1950s and has been based in the city of Westminster ever since. He started his career as a kitchen porter at the St. James's Club and rose to the position of managing Scots in Mayfair. A doyen in hospitality, Lawless hosted everyone from Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor at Scott's, and then after reopening the restaurant the next day after an IRA bomb in 1975, decided to go it alone, and in 1983 bought a Greasy Spoon cafe in Mottcombe Street, Belgravia. He transformed it into what became the buzziest restaurant bar of the next 3 decades, and himself became one of the hospitality industry's most renowned hosts. Famed for a fine art collection, personally collected by Lawless with the help of the late Michael Parkin, Mockham's has attracted everyone from Goldie Hawn to Margaret Thatcher. Horse racing stars such as Frankie Dettori and the football manager Terry Venables became regulars, and those that flocked to it came not only for what the Evening Standard once termed a menu was like the biography of an old friend, but also because of the buzzy brasserie, restaurant and bar's atmosphere. Polite, yet never intrusive, and aware of his customers' needs, Lawless told the Steeple Times that as much as he loves the theatre of running a restaurant, times have changed. The culture of long lunches of the 1980s has died, he remarks, but I was lucky to serve everyone from yuppies to legends like Sir Roger Moore. Now was the time for me to bow out at Mockham's, but I shall continue to enjoy welcoming faces old and new to the Bow Wine Vaults. Of Mockham's, a customer once remarked, "The best restaurant is the restaurant that knows you best, and that restaurant is Mockham's." That customer was Barbara Minto, an absolutely lovely, legendary lady, and I hope she's watching this evening because she loved Philip and we spent great times together. Whilst of Lawless's former Scots owner, Nicky Kerman added, "Philip is a very talented and successful restaurateur who knows how to keep his customers happy. I have always enjoyed eating in his restaurants, and today we pay tribute to the memory of Philip Lawless, a person who was a brilliant person in the world of hospitality." And the comments underneath the articles were things like the culture of the long lunch. We loved the long lunch, and we always loved Philip. He was always welcoming to everyone. He was a great man, and it's very sad that he has passed on, and we shall all miss him. I pay tribute to Philip Lawless. So that's something I just felt I wanted to say. So there we go. You thought we were uncensored. The noise in the background is all okay. Yes, we are making gin and tonics in honor of Philip Lawless. Did I meet Jackie Collins? Yes, I have met Jackie Collins. Yes. Oliver Reed. Christopher Hitchens. I did meet Christopher Hitchens, yes, and his brother. Spent time with Christopher Hitchens in San Francisco at a most wonderful bar called Cafe Tosca. I was there in the time of the film festivals I used to go to. So, I'm now getting a special Mario style gin and tonic.
No, making it slow.
Right. There we go.
Enjoy.
Right. No, you have to carry on. It's only 23:13. They're loving the new channel and they want you to carry on. Shaken, not stirred. Right. My hour is up. Oh, well. Will I have mini cheddars? I'm banning too many. I've not banned anybody as far as I'm aware, but there we go. Oh, I don't know who's... Well, I don't know. I don't know quite how it's made, the banning situation. There are now 719 of you. It's growing fast. The drink looks lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. Yes. Mr. Stark, but hello and welcome. Do I have views of Christopher or Peter? Well, Peter Hitchens I find to be rather arrogant and angry. Christopher Hitchens was very pleasant. So Christopher Hitchens I met in a bar in called Tosca in the North Beach of San Francisco. It was run by my friend Jeanette Evans. Right, so we've just had an incident here of people knocking over books. There we go. There we go. My guests do like to cause havoc. I think that adds to the spice and life of variety of my TV show. They've just knocked over Agatha Christie. And then we've got Nadine Dorries probably somewhere amongst that. Oh dear. Mark Billingham's sleepyhead. And the lady is claiming she feels sleepy, but now she's going to be punished by being made to stay because she's knocked over all the books. So she's got nowhere to go until she clears up the mess she's made. There we go. Agatha Christie is a goner. I think she was a goner the year she died. Please could we look up the year Agatha Christie died, somebody? Because you're a bit late. Mario Manquel. I don't know what that means. The book tower has fallen. Well, I've got plenty of book towers, so don't worry. The lady here is now just sitting playing on her phone. She's ignoring the rest of the books. So. Oh, Agatha Christie. My mum loves you. She's living her last days. Please, could I say a hi to Wendy? Well, Alicia, I'm very sorry to hear your mother is unwell. And I will say a wonderful hi to Wendy. June will too. June, please, can we say...
Hi, Wendy.
Right. We will say a wonderful hi to Wendy, and we will...
Wendy.
And Mario would like to say hi to Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Can you say hi to Wendy?
Hi, Wendy.
Right. Right, we've got a hi to Wendy. I hope that helped. And everyone else is saying a hi to Wendy. I need to paint my walls. They're dull. You're entitled to your opinion, but Caroline Haig, are you some relation of William Hague? Because you're really getting a bit dull. Because I really am sick of your stupid remarks. You're a bit annoying. You loved the idea of Peter. Looks like a book club. Do you play board games? Yes, I like playing Scrabble, but no one ever bothers to play it with me. Hi, Mario and Wendy and June.
Hello.
That's Jenny. Do I tip on Holith? I don't know what that means. On Holith? On holiday?
Holiday, is it? Yeah, that's what it means.
I think we should leave tips all the time if we can. What brand of gin is in your drink? On this occasion, Tanqueray. Yes, we love your company. We're now up to 727. Nice to see your guests' faces. Yes, you love Scrabble. That looks cozy. Are you here tomorrow? We may be. We'll make a decision later in a moment. My favorite composer. I told you I love the music of Barrington Furlong for Inspector Morse. I think that's the best. But I love lots of different music. I love everything from... They're worrying about the books now.
Broadstairs book disaster.
The Broadstairs book disaster. It sounds like a truly epic thing, but no.
Another notch.
Christopher Hitchens was not rude to anyone. Christopher Hitchens was a wonderful gentleman, so please leave it out, whoever you are, talking out of the rubbish. What do I have for my breakfast? I have a cup of Yorkshire tea, and then I move on to a gin. Yeah, let's be honest. Sometimes a whiskey. Enjoy life. Have I met Anna Wintour? No, I've never met Anna Wintour. But I'm sure she's a very interesting person to spend time with. One word would my guests describe me with? What word? One word, June.
You're brilliant.
That's two.
Fun.
Fun, says Mario. What's the one word? One word.
What was she?
One word.
Just woken up.
They're not doing very well on one word.
Intelligent.
No, but you've already had your one word.
Sorry.
Yeah.
One word? Because you had two.
Funny.
Funny. Okay, there we
I
go.
said fun.
Kind, says Alicia. Oh, the scariest film I've ever watched. Oh, I don't know. Damien, the one with Damien in it.
Love story.
What's the one with Damien? Damien.
Yeah.
The Omen.
The Omen.
I didn't like Damien. He scared me. I was terrified by him. Good evening to all the guests. Yes. The Omen, yes. You thought only fools terrifying thing you've ever watched, oh. My God. You must be on a different planet.
1976.
What do I think about Claudia Lawrence? That was the chef lady, I believe, who disappeared.
What are you going on in
Oh, one of the guests is fleeing.
Yeah.
Not some more books
We're not in the living room, no, we're in the kitchen. It's a different area of the house. The sitting room is on another level. So there you go. You call me suave. Well, thank you for that.
Nice word.
Very kind of you to say. Have I seen Whipnail and I? Yes, of course I have, and I love Whipnail and I. And I think Richard E. Grant was a wonderful actress. And I'm sad to say that some of the people in this room don't agree with me. They don't like him. But here we go. We're getting interjections in the background. The Omen was filmed in Guildford Cathedral, well worth a visit. Well, Guildford Cathedral is, quite frankly, one of the most ugly cathedrals ever built on the entire planet. It's a horrible, vile, ugly building, and Guildford is not a great place. I used to have to go there to film podcasts for other channels, but I won't be going back to Guildford in a hurry. There are other parts of Surrey. I know people love Surrey, but I call it Slurry. It's a little bit like a place where people who like to play golf go. It's not on my agenda. Gosford Park. Yes, well, the talented man, Julian Fellows. I was with him at a memorial service only a couple of months ago. People love his Downton Abbey, which I make fun of him every time I see him and tell him how, historically inaccurate it is. It's a load of old rot, really, but it makes people happy. And why not have things that make people happy? But historically, it's completely inaccurate, and Gosford Park was exactly the same. Right, well, we need some more interjections from June. Oh, now we've got noise coming from upstairs. I'm terribly sorry that one of the guests has gone upstairs and is running the pipes. Which magazines do I subscribe to? I don't personally at the moment, but have I ever taken Lad? I don't know what Lad is. No, I don't take Lad or cocaine for that matter. You've cancelled Netflix. You refuse to watch The Crown. Okay. Those damn pipes. Yes, Mario. Thank you. It's not my fault that someone's gone up there. Where in South London is Tony Discipline's bar? I can't give the address right now, but I'm sure if you go on his page, you can find it. Right, there we are. We're now at 710 of you, so we've gone down a little. Oh dear. We need some merchandise. Well, I don't know what we could say on that. Are you all on benefits? Well, whoever you are, well, I don't know who you are. What's your favourite meal? Well, it depends on the occasion, doesn't it, really? What's a silly question?
Sorry.
Have I ever been to Ely Cathedral? I do apologise about the pipes. Oh dear. I think the person with the pipes has gone up the stairs now. Do I like Sale Pepe? No, I was never really into that restaurant. It was a bit boring. I went there, there were better restaurants in Knightsbridge. I quite liked going to Scalini. The lady here hated it with a passion. I liked Zuma and other restaurants in the vicinity. No, not Salad Pepe. Who's using the bog? Yes. No, it wasn't the bog. It was just the pipes that she was just washing her face or something before she went to bed. Our guest has decided to go to bed, and I can hear the door shut now, so there'll be no more noise. Alex Belfield, well, he's not a nice man. Can we crowdfund off Fergie? Well, I think it would be better if King Charles just made the pair of them go off to live in the Frogmore cottage. What does June think
I
about this?
agree.
June and I.
They can't get him out, can they?
Here we are.
Yeah, can't get him out.
We can't get rid of them. Do I like Dawn French? She's never done me any harm. Turn up your volume. Well, my volume's put perfectly loud. I don't know. The pipes are calling. Oh, the last film I've seen.
Barbie.
I haven't seen Barbie. No. Fergie's got an illness. Well, we always knew this. How is June?
I'm fine, thank you.
June is fine. The volume is okay. The pipes are calling. Ah, yes.
Hello.
Oh, here's the pipes. You become known as the pipes. The guests who brought the pipes. I like Julie. You Julie, not
Julie
Julie.
now. Miss Julie.
They like your colour of your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Danny Boy, whatever that means. Caroline Haig. Oh, God, her again. Are you related, Caroline Haig, to William Haig?
Yeah.
We need to ask you a question. We're rather getting bored of your silly questions. I think we should have you removed. You're a pest with your stupid questions. I remember Mama, says Ava. I don't remember Mama. Who would I invite to dinner? Michael Barrymore or Philip Schofield? I wouldn't invite either. So don't be so stupid. Please don't ask silly questions. This is my channel, and this is my audience. No, Caroline is okay. Okay. Caroline is okay. What, who are you? Johnny? Are you some kind of Holly Willoughby? Are you okay? I really don't like people asking, are you okay? We've had a debate about this earlier today. I'm related to the chap who arrested Guy Fawkes, says Sharon. Well, that's a curious association. And, you know, we're all probably related to the guy who arrested Guy Fawkes ultimately. So it's rather a long time ago. So we could all go back. 3 items to take on a deserted island. Well, not on Desert Island Discs. I'm going to save that for one day if I ever get invited on it. I'd love to be invited on that, but no, because I do like listening to it, but I don't think I would be of any relevance to the audience. I haven't asked any questions. I'm replying to others, says Carolyn Haig. I don't know. You're getting carried away, Carolyn Haig. Perhaps Carolyn Haig, you might want to think before you type. I think it's about time that we learned that this is not the chat room of the other people. This is the chat room of me. So I don't wish, you know, there was a lady that wrote and complained, and she said that she didn't like me complaining about people who wrote in capital letters with exclamation marks, but she referred to how she could barley also do this. Or does she want a barley water to go with that? You know, seriously. Please don't write to me in nonsense. I don't need it. I don't care about it. And we're the audience here is rising because we're don't be a bully in capital letters with 3 exclamation marks. Well, please go away, Johnny. We don't welcome you here. Bye-bye. Have I tried aviation gin? Yes. I don't know why you put aviation in capital letters, but there we go. It is American, yes. I did meet the man who founded Naughty Johnny. What do I think happened to John Benet Ramsey? Well, I don't know. Have I ever seen a ghost? Yes, I do believe in ghosts, but I haven't have paranormal experiences. But that's a story for another day when we talk about that in perhaps November or more on Imran Khan. We've already covered Imran Khan, so let's move along. I think it's time I move to a topic before we leave. We haven't covered a book recommendation yet, have we?
No.
Well, today's book recommendation is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, who is secretly J.K. Rowling. We don't approve of people who are cancelled for the wrong reason, and J.K. Rowling has spoken out quite correctly. And the Il Portico restaurant in Kensington High Street, where Piers Morgan also goes, they've been treated appallingly. There's no room in the world for any of this. So today we recommend the Robert Galbraith book, The Cuckoo's Calling. It's called a strike novel. Some of you will have seen the BBC kind of adaptation of it. But no, I think that this J.K. Rowling was being clever in what she did. I have a personal story, I knew J.K. Rowling's agent, and he didn't, Christopher Little, he was a decent gentleman, and he did a lot, and he created her, and then she treated him badly. So I don't know J.K. Rowling. I have no reason to support J.K. Rowling because she didn't treat him well. But, he's died now. But he made a lot of money out of her, but then she got rid of him. And that wasn't very nice of her. But I think what all this ridiculous attempt to cancel her by all these LGBTQ plus XYZ bog off, whatever you are, they're ridiculous. A bit like this woman in this town we keep bringing up, the dragon. I don't like people who want to be something that's completely nonsensical. There's no need for it. So I say that's the book that I recommend you read today. So it's just a light-hearted thing. I recommended a book about something serious earlier this week. I recommended a book about conservation. I've recommended you a book about horse racing and the strangest tales. Each day we'll have a different book, and it won't be a book you'll expect. And that's the reason I recommend that today. It's a bit different, and it's a novel, and it's an easy read. I recommend something like that. So I hope you enjoy it. Yes, J.K. Rowling bought Johnny Depp's beautiful yacht. I have stayed on that very yacht. It's a wonderful yacht before she bought it. I did visit it when it was in Venice, and my friends, the Bahadir family, used to own it when it was in Turkey. And it's Mr. Bahadir's birthday yesterday, I believe. So I wish Amir Bahadir a very happy birthday. So it was a beautiful boat. It's now been renamed. J.K. Rowling lost a hell of a lot of money buying it because she sold it a year later for a lot less. But it's a fantastic yacht, and it's absolutely glorious. And I was on it for a short period of time, but I love beautiful boats, and I wish I could afford to spend time on more of them. But that's one of the most beautiful ones I've ever been on. It's not very large, but it's a modern boat, but it looks like a 1920s boat, and it's fantastic. So yes, that's a very interesting point you bring up. There you go. Am I recommending a book tonight? Well, I just recommended the book, so please refer back to past comments. I don't deal with UFOs, and this is not the channel to talk about UFOs. We'll leave that to other channels. I don't want to talk about aliens. I don't want to talk about David Icke. I don't want to talk about things like that. So please take all this elsewhere. JK JFK conspiracies. I've been on a program with people who have views on that. I've met people who've written books about that. I'm not really that interested in that. I think there are other stories that are more relevant. For example, the story of Omar Ben-Guet, the story of Mark Alexander, the story of Stuart Lubbock. Those are the people I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about aliens. Sorry, not for me. So there you go. I will support Samantha Markle in her crusade. I don't want to get involved with Stephen King, Paul Yates. No, I would like to help the people I wish to help and continue to expose the story of Ghislaine Maxwell. So I think we've done enough for 1 hour, 1 hour 35. We've gone over the hour. So, and Mario here and June and the other guests are ready for another drink and a one for the road, one for the ditch, one for the door, one for the table, one for the floor. So we will return again tomorrow, and we will speak again at 9 o'clock tomorrow. We will bring it back to the earlier time, and then we will have a little bit of time off, perhaps for the weekend. So we will see what happens tomorrow. But thank you to all 700 of you. Well, I think at 9 o'clock tomorrow, I think is the time, if that's agreeable to Mario.
It's up to you.
Yes, Mario will be here to help. And
Well, I don't know. It's the last night. It's the last of Folk Week.
it's the last day of Folk Week. So right. But you see, it has to be at this time because of the American audience. So
I will try my best, sir.
he will try his best. So you loved the chat and you all want to say good night. Thank you. You enjoy every moment of it. Thank you. You're all so kind. Now, I wish you happy evening and all the very best to all of you. You've been most generous, and thank you ever so much. Wishing you a happy night and sweet dreams, as you say. There you go.